Hey guys, Rafael Hidalgo here, wanting to make a quick video really about, I think, an important topic that a lot of people care about, and finances. So initially, I'm actually making this video if you're honestly a brand new guy into the business. So maybe it's your first week out of training, maybe you're about to hit leadership, or maybe you just got promoted to leadership. So honestly, this video is intended for you. So I'm talking to people that are in that realm, but that doesn't mean that this isn't for also people that are getting closer to getting promoted to management. Hopefully at this point you understand this a lot more and you're already doing this, and then as well as this is also meant for owners. So guys that are running their own office, their own deal, they're in charge of things. So this is meant for you as well. If you haven't heard this stuff before, then my fault. But honestly, really it's just meant to educate anybody on finances. And I think it's one of the coolest things about our business is that genuinely we really focus on people making more money. And I'll mention some things is that hey, there's a lot of people in the industry that thankfully their finances are in a way better situation than they were when they started. Just a little bit of background on me so you understand maybe who's talking to you. I started in the business back in 2015. I went through the management training program in about 6 months. I got the opportunity to run my own operations, be in charge, and in March of 2016. So I've been running an office since then. Since then, it was in 2020, I got promoted to a position that's called regional consultant. And then in 2021, I got promoted to, or 2022, sorry, I got promoted to what's called national consultant. Did a lot of stuff through there. It was a 2022 that for the first time my income had hit $1 million in profit, which I think is pretty cool. 2023 should be even higher. And now since then, I've helped two other people get into the $1 million mark, and probably another 50 people that are making, I would say, a good 6 figures plus, probably $250,000, a good people that are $500,000. And then those are just more managers. If you include other individuals, it might be closer to 80 or 100 individuals that are closer to that level of income. I say that just more so hopefully you see that, hey, I have a little bit of understanding when it comes to money and how people make money and helping people make money. And my goal, honestly, what I love is helping brand new people like yourself just make more money. I'm gonna go into some stuff and genuinely, hopefully you find this in some way, shape, or form of value to you. So let's get into it. Okay, so first thing that I like to get into before I start going over my thought process on money, which is not really my thought process. I learned it from numerous people back when I was 19 years old, but it's first dissecting where do we learn about finances? What's our upbringing on finances? And I have this title, Think, because we very rarely stop to think about why is it what we know, why is it this way? Why do we think things are this way? Okay, so how do we know what we currently know? What's the upbringing there? Okay, and when we look at our upbringing, it's normally the school system, it's normally our parents, maybe our family members, maybe our closest friends, maybe people that we went to school with, maybe our old bosses, okay? And you take all of those individuals combined, let's look at them all, and they all probably fall into this where, hey, we got to check their credibility, we got to check their fruit. So what does that mean for some of you guys that are new to this? It's credibility. It's, do they actually have results that you want? Do they have good results? So when we look at results, let's just look at the world, just look at the masses. In America, the average household income, I think now it's like $55,000. It's in the $50,000 range. So that's mom, that's dad, that's kids, that's everybody working inside the household. The average household income in America is over $50,000. When you look at that, okay, $50,000, there's people that make that in a week. There's people in our business that make that in a month. Overall, and let's take our business out of it, $50,000 a year. Is that a lot of money? Not really. The average American saves less than, it's an average of $700 a year. If you save $700 a year and you worked 40 hours a week for 52 weeks, do the math on how much money you made out of that $700 per hour. Like, it's almost nothing. So what I question there is, do you want those results? The results of a household income of $50,000. If you don't want those results, then you got to understand, I can't listen to the average individual. I can't listen to the average household because what they know about creating money they don't know anything. Wow, they don't know anything good. They're not making good money. They don't have any fruit that I would want. Okay, so I mentioned earlier, hey, what have I done with finances, and then what have I helped other people do? Okay, and I don't say that to be braggadocious, to be arrogant by any means. I say that for credibility, to standpoints of, hey, to some extent, I'm someone that you can probably listen to, and I'm not. It's not like everything I say is guaranteed, but there's a track record there of helping other individuals. And again, I learned from coaches and mentors in my life, so it's not like I created anything. I'm merely just taking the coaching and passed on the coaching. Okay, so it's just understanding. Okay, who has credibility? And here's what I've also learned: people that have the credibility in finances, they are harder to find. They're harder to find, which means there's a level of appreciation that you got to have. Your manager, the office that you're in, whoever is probably did your interview, whoever probably is overseeing the whole operations inside of your office, they're an individual that's probably making a good six-figure income above the household average income. They're probably making above doctor level type of income. And they're in a position where they can actually teach you how to do the same thing, which is great. That's what I saw when someone helped me out. I'm very thankful. And I realized that in all my circle of friends, I didn't have anybody that had credibility, let alone did I have somebody that was going to teach me. And here's what else. They were going to teach me free of charge. In fact, they were going to pay me to work at the office, to go do some work. And I was going to learn about finances and learn how to create more wealth. And I get jacked up about that type of model because it's so rare to find. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. And I genuinely would show just a high level of appreciation for your manager, because genuinely they want what's best for you. They only win if you're making a lot of money. Okay, so then from there, I'll say, hey, what do you want your finances to look like? Maybe you're happy with average household income. Maybe you're average with $50,000 a year. That's not me. I can't relate to that at all. If that's you, though, hey, I don't judge you. Still love you. Wish you the best. But you got to know, what kind of finances do I want? Maybe I do want to make good six figures. Maybe I do want to make $250,000, $500,000 plus. Okay, I do want to make millions of dollars down the road. Cool. That's really the type of individuals that we're probably talking to more than anything. Okay. My philosophy on finances, I say my philosophy, what I was taught and what I use to this day, okay, is managing finances in this order, okay? The first one is tithing. So I know some people, that's very spiritual. They don't want anything to hear with that. Hey, that's fine. You can ignore it. Please don't be turned off by this whole video just because you don't like this. I learned this when I was 19 years old, and at that point in time, I was actually a huge atheist. So I wanted nothing to do with any of this. And someone sat across the table and told me the first thing I should do with my finances is tithe. And I'm like, I'm not spiritual. Hey, I'm not. You don't have to believe in that. Personally, for me, person of faith, hey, it's 10% goes back to the kingdom. If you want to do an offering, so you receive more in abundance, then you give over 10%. So I've always actually done 11%. And I did that back in the day when I was a rep. I made very little money. I've always done that. Okay, that is the first priority. Number two, okay, and this is where maybe a lot of you guys will dial in and focus on, okay, is your business. And the business being that you're going to run an office one day. And that's where we're putting the finances as a priority comes first, okay? Because the business, meaning that might be like personal growth books, that might be like going out to eat with your manager, and it's like a little bit of an investment because you're spending some money there, something along those lines. But it's for you to grow the business that you're inside of, okay? And the reason it's so important to make that investment is because that right there is what's going to grow you into making hundreds of thousands, not millions of dollars, okay? Most people have it backwards. They say, let me cover all my bills first. No, an audio book, going out to eat with my manager, okay, or doing something with the team, that's probably going to make me more money down the road than paying my bills, okay? Or what some people do is just miscellaneous spending on random stuff, on entertainment, okay? When I spend my money over there, it doesn't make me any money, okay? So we always say, hey, you cover the business first because the business is your baby, okay? that's going to grow and gives you loads of income from multiple different avenues. Okay, so the business is the first thing I got to take care of, because that's what's going to generate me my more income down the road. Third thing I say we cover is, hey, your bills, right? And we'll talk later about delayed gratification, where you keep your bills at a very low expense so you can live lean, but you cover your bills. Next, you have those organized and ready to go. Followed by that is your savings. The way that people make bonuses and commissions in our industry, everybody should be able to do all of this, no problem, and put money away to savings every single week. And I coach people, hey, it doesn't matter what the amount is. Some people want to ask, how much should I put away in savings? It doesn't matter. It could be $25 a week, it could be $50 a week, it could be $100 a week. What matters is, are you consistently putting money away so that every week that savings account is going up? What matters is the discipline that you're putting money away so that it goes up, right? Versus 1 week I'm going to put 300 in, and 1 week I'm going to put 200 in, and then it's going to go down, and then it's just up and down. No. Let me be disciplined, because I got my other finances in order, so those are always taken care of, and then my savings is consistently going up. And then the last one, okay, and this is where people get a little messed up, it's miscellaneous, which is things like entertainment. So going out to eat, going to the movie theaters, having fun with other stuff. I am not saying that you don't go out and do fun stuff. What I'm saying is, you manage your finances to the other things first. It's a priority. Now, if for whatever reason you don't have the money, when you do this and you're like, dude, I'm putting $25 away for savings, I'm paying all my bills, maybe I got a kid, maybe I got a wife, and maybe I got medical payments, maybe I got car payments, whatever it may be, okay, then that means that I don't have the money for miscellaneous stuff. Sorry, my brother walked by. That means if I don't have the money for miscellaneous stuff, then you know what that means? I'm not in a position to just spend money there. And some people say, but I want to go out to eat. I want to go somewhere nicer. It's like, you don't deserve it right now. And down the road, do you want to live a better lifestyle? Do you want to be able to go out to eat 7 days a week, $300 a meal, no questions asked? Yes. Okay, you want to do that right now for a temporary amount of time. Then what you have to do is delay gratify, and that might have to be put on the back burner. Okay. Now, with the way people in our industry make bonuses and commissions, I think you can do every single one of these. You'll have the money to go to entertainment stuff, go to movies, go out to eat a lot, blah, blah, blah. But what matters is, do you have a budget for it all? So having a budget for it, having it tracked, okay? I would say having every penny tracked is going to be important for you and you being successful with making more money down the road, okay? So things that we can go over, okay? Doing a break even. So you look over here, this break even says at the top, fixed monthly bills, where you can write down your mortgage, your rent, your insurance, utilities, car payment, car insurance, cell phone, gas, groceries, toiletry, meals and entertainment, any subscriptions. That's Netflix, Hulu, Crunchyroll. I'm trying to think of what else. Okay, I don't know what else, but any other subscriptions you may have, student loan payments, debt payments, credit card payments, medical payments, anything, all right, is I would take the time to write all that down, okay, and see where is my money at. And then I go to the right column if there's any debt, so the card payment, the house, the credit cards, okay? Write it all down so you can accurately see where's all my money going. And then you can add it all up. When you add it all up, you can then get your total monthly expenses, okay? You want to divide that number by 4, and then you get your weekly expenses, okay? And of course, that's what you need after taxes. And then taxes, get with your manager. Every state's a little bit different, but there's a percentage variable there. Probably in the description, we'll put a little bit of a formula so you can get a rough estimate of what your gross paycheck is needed to be. But then you have your weekly expenses, okay? And from there, all you got to do is make sure that, hey, I got my weekly expenses covered on a weekly basis. And I would recommend doing this, okay? Write this down. Go through the last 3 months of your statements, maybe 4 months, maybe 5 months, however long you want, at least 3 months, and then print out all the sheets or just look through them and look at where all your money's going. Because here's what most people find. Oh, my expenses aren't that high. I got an extra $200, $300, $400 left over every single week. Okay, there's $200, $300, $400 left over every single week. How much money do you have saved? And here's what I find a lot. I have less than $1,000 saved up. I have nothing saved up. Why? How is it that you have so much money left over every single week, but you have no money saved up? And people are always, I don't know. Okay. And then when you do, and it's not to make fun of it, I was in the same boat. I did this exact same thing. I've gone through this exact same exercise years and years ago. Okay. And here's what I found and consistently find is people should spend their money on entertainment. And that's usually going out to eat. Nowadays you got Uber Eats, DoorDash, all this type of stuff. So from there, it's okay. This is where you have to learn how to be disciplined, okay? Because you don't need to do those things. You got to know where your money's going. Just because you have the money to do something doesn't mean you have to do something, okay? The way that I've broken it up is you got fixed expenses. Fixed expenses are things like my rent, things like my car payment, my cell phone, my student loan payments. I have to make these payments no matter what, okay? Variable expenses are the other stuff, going out to eat, subscriptions, meal and entertainment, and you got to know the difference. Fixed, I need them. Variable, not 100% needed, okay? And a philosophy to live by is just live below your means for a long period of time, okay? And I'm going to go through some experiences that I've personally had when it comes to living below my means. So living below your means is that, hey, I might make X amount of income, but I only need to, I can live off of this. And the rest of this is a gap right here. I can just save this. I can put it away. I can maybe spend a little bit on meals, entertainment, having fun, but the rest of it going away in savings. And what some people go is, oh, I'm making this amount of money. Let me just raise my expenses over here. Then when you're T to T, when you're not saving any money, man, you are stressed about finances. You can only think about money. You don't make decisions based on the merit of the decision. You make decisions based on the fact that you need money, okay? So it's not good, healthy decisions. And then you can't think about scaling. You can't think about expanding. You can't think about making significantly more money because all you're worried about is paying your bills. Because all you're worried about is matching your expenses, okay? And then the moment that your expenses are here, and then all of a sudden, because we're working bonuses and commissions, your income goes down a little bit for a few weeks, and your expenses are up here, you're extra stressed. You're not thinking about getting promoted to management. You're not thinking about growing. You're not thinking about getting promoted, about managing other people. You're not thinking about making $250,000, about making $500,000, retiring your parents. You're thinking about how am I going to hit these expenses? How am I going to break even here? Okay? So we talk about live below your means. You got a base guarantee that's here, you'll live here. Then you make more money that's here, you still live here. Okay? Down the road, as you make more income, yes, this will go up. But it needs to be so secure that nothing's going to happen. And even if you go up your expenses, your income is so high up, you're going to be good. Okay? Again, we're trying to help you create a good life for your future. So that's where a lot of the thinking comes from. So just some of the decisions that I personally made. When I was a rep going through the field, we used to sell a different campaign. Nowadays, the average paycheck in the office for people is like $1,200, sometimes $1,300, sometimes $1,500, depending what office you're from. Like, people make really good money. When I was a rep going through the program, my average paycheck came out to $700 a week, and I was one of the best reps in the program. Okay, so the opportunity wasn't nearly as good, but I still saw it big, but it wasn't nearly as big. So now, again, you don't have to worry about this. My situation is way different than what it is now. Here's what I had to do that I think people still should do, and I think is important. Okay, I love that people can make more, just a little bit more flexibility now, which is great for all of us. So living below my means, what did I do? Apartment, my first apartment that I got when I moved out of my parents' house, I lived with, it was me, my twin brother Carlos, and 2 other guys. And it was an apartment that ran us right at $1,100. Okay, so it was under a $500 rent payment, very cheap. Second apartment that my brother and I got, it was an apartment. It was Section 8 housing, super cheap. It was under $500 a month for me. Third apartment that I got, same deal. It was still in Toledo, Ohio, and it was right at $500 a month. And I lived on the couch under an air conditioning unit because it was super cheap. And I wasn't going to spend that much time at home, and I wanted to save as much money as possible. Doesn't have to be that drastic for you by any means. And then when I moved to Texas, same deal. I always kept my rent payments at $500 a month. It was just a lot easier that way for me based on my finances. Could I have afforded more? There was times when I had $50,000, $100,000 in the bank account, and you know what? I was still paying. I eventually got to the point where I was like at $1,000 a month, but I had over $100,000 saved up in the bank account. Although I had the money saved in the bank account, I'm like, nah, I want to save until I can do something significantly nicer. So I saved. Things like going out to eat. It wasn't until I started making probably, I would say, a good six figures that I really started to go out to eat more, okay, or at all. But I used to pack my lunches. I ate a lot of ramen, I ate a lot of pasta, and I was cool with that. It was very budgeted. You could go to YouTube and say, how do I eat groceries? $40 a week. You can make some cheap crap. I ate pasta and ramen because it was simple. It was probably like $20 a week max, and it was very easy. And I did that until I started making about six figures. My vehicle, I've seen other people in our business make great decisions on this, where I've seen people that have trucks or cars that are running them 600, 700, 800. I think I've seen them up to $900 on a monthly basis. And honestly, if you're making a car payment that's that high, the car doesn't make us any money. We just need a car to get us from point A to point B. And I've seen people take those cars, return them, do stuff. They're in agreement with the coach, and then they bring it down to maybe 200, $300. So now they have an extra $400 a month left over. Way less stress-free. For me personally, I came into the business. I was driving a Toyota Prius to 2011, maybe 2012. Drove that until it completely broke down. It was fully paid off when I got it in high school. And then I needed to buy a new car back in 2020. So it lasted till then. 2020, I think it was well over $100,000. It might have been $150,000 saved up in the bank account. And at that point, I just got promoted to regional consultant, but obviously COVID had just happened. So there was a lot of things going on. So I just wanted to be safe, and I knew I had bigger goals. And I knew I was only probably another year or 2 years, maybe 3 years away from doing something crazy nice. So in 2020, when that Prius broke down, I bought a Toyota Camry for $4,500 in cash. Could I have bought something significantly nicer? Yeah. Would I go back and probably buy something like an Accord, maybe a 2018, 2019? Yeah, probably, but I don't know. I think I wanted the cool story, so I bought a $4,500 one cash car, okay? And it was just below my means. It was simple, okay? Now, I'll just tell you, okay, that sounds extreme. What have I done now? I'm 28 years old now. I live in a house that's $1.4 or $1.5 million. It's over $7,000 a month. I've paid off the last 12 months already of payments. So you do the math on that. That's like right at $80,000 that's been paid off in advance. My brother and I, we helped my parents move from Ohio down here to Texas. We bought them their own house with a pool, super nice. 2022, I bought a Tesla in cash for $88,000. Literally paid it in cash. I think there's a video out there of me paying it out in cash. I'm trying to think of anything else that's crazy cool. Now I don't know how much I spend on food. I probably spend $700 a week on food and whatnot. I got a personal trainer right now that runs me $600 a week. My fiance's got a personal trainer that runs her $300 a week. So that's $900, $1,600 on personal training and food. So just our lifestyle's so significantly different, and I thank it, and I'm so thankful that for years I delayed gratified, and obviously down the road can now do significantly bigger things. Okay. I know people always ask, what about investing? What about passive income and getting into real estate, Airbnb, doing this, blah, blah, blah. Here's what I'll say, because that can be a whole other segment, a whole other video to watch. Is important, is a conversation to be had. But here's what I'll say, you want to stick to one thing and you want to make it a cash cow. Look, nobody that has investments or creates passive income in multiple avenues where they say they got multiple streams of income coming in, none of them made that type of income because they started doing it or trying to do it when they had no income coming in. They will all talk about, you read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, you read Millionaire Booklet by Grant Cardone. They all have the same thought process. You build one cash cow, one thing that brings you in a lot of money, okay? No other, or just boom, money over money. And then you can start investing into other things where then you create passive income and then you have bigger investments, okay? And those are conversations to be had. But until you have hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest, that's not even a conversation. So know that you're gonna get there, but you gotta manage your finances now, okay? And crush it and build up in this industry and big before we get into that type of conversation. So hopefully that makes sense. Cool. Okay, so few next steps. One, I would get with your coach. I would fill out a break even. Ask them for this break even sheet. They probably have one. ask them for this agreement. And for the owners that are watching this, if you don't have one, you can reach out to Megan, JD, myself, and we're training a new girl named Betty to help us out with this stuff. But we will make one for you. That way you can send it out to you and you can use it. But get an agreement with your coach. Fill out the financial spreadsheet, write it all out, know where your finances at, and say, hey, coach, here's what I'm thinking. Here's where I think my finances are at and should be at. Do you have any thoughts? Here's what I want to transition. Here's what I want to budget my money to. Okay? Now, so being in agreement with someone who makes more money than you, who has credibility, who has proven it true, who has financial incentive to help you out, who has financial incentive for you to do well, okay? That's who I want to coach me. I've got coaches and mentors that if I make more money, they make more money. I want them to make more money off of me so that they help me more because they're going to help me make more money. So it's a win-win situation. So I want to get an agreement with those individuals about my finances, okay? Now, my recommendation is you should have a savings account and a fixed expenses account. That fixed expenses is probably going to be your checkings account if we're being realistic and keeping it simple. And then you have a savings account. When you know your break even, what I would do, you can literally on your app, on like your Chase app, your Bank of America, your Wells Fargo. I recommend Chase personally for down the road. But so on your Chase app, what you can do is you can set on Friday, you can set it to, on a weekly basis, you can set it to deposit X amount of money to your savings, okay? So you can just, if you know that your break even is this and bare minimum, you're going to make this every single week, on Fridays, just set it up for that amount of money to go into your savings. Or every Friday, what you can do is just see how much money came in because we make bonuses and commissions. And then you put all that excess amount from your break even point. So let's say my break even is $500 a week. And then I made $1,000. After taxes, it's $750 or $800. I take that extra $300 and boom, I put it into my savings. Or maybe I want to leave some left over for going out to eat and I'm fine. Okay, I leave over $100 in my checkings and then I put the other $200 into my savings. Okay, but every week you should be putting money away into your savings. All the extra that you make from bonuses and commissions, put a good portion of it into your savings. Okay, and that if you want, you can have another checking account with Chase as well, with the same bank. It's for variables. So you have an account that's for all your fixed expenses, right? So your break even is $500. So $500 goes to this account. You made $800. Okay, on Friday, I'm going to transfer over $100 to my variable account, and then I'm going to transfer the other $200 into my savings. So my fixed expenses is covered. I know I got $100 that I can screw around with, okay? For some of you guys, it's going to be way more because you're good at the job. And then I got my savings all taken care of. You're going to feel so good, and then you can actively grow, okay? And here's what we have for you. Again, for the managers, you guys can reach out to us, and we'll send this over to you so you can print it out, have a document of it. You want to track your finances weekly, and you want to do it in a format so you can stay accountable. You can have a binder. You can put this in the binder, 3-hole punch it in there. Every single Friday, just track what I have saved, I did this for years, and I just wanted to see every week that my money was going up. It was a way for me to stay accountable to it, and it's a way for your manager to just to hold you accountable to your goals that you want to accomplish, is to save you more money in your bank account. And every week you see your money goes up, and honestly, it's exciting to see your money go up, okay? Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that helps. And last thing that I'll mention, some good books to read on finances. I would read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, and then Millionaire Booklet by Grant Cardone. Those are 3 books that I highly recommend. Other than that, love you guys. Hey guys, throwing this in at the end of the clip, maybe at the beginning, I don't know. Completely forgot to mention it, but I think it's just important when thinking about finances. Probably going to throw this in the segment of where does our mindset come from thinking about money. We grow up maybe hearing that, hey, money is the root to all, you said it, probably evil, okay? And I just want to question that a little bit. Like, one, what money is just green paper. What do you mean it's evil? The world revolves around money. It's the love of money that is root to all evil, okay? We live in an economic planet. Money is what makes the world go round to an extent, okay? So we got to look at, what decision are we making on money? Hey, where we go to work, what we do on a day-to-day basis, where we go to eat, probably the friends we hang out with, where we live, the car that we drive, what we do on the weekends, the vacations that we take. All of that stuff, to some extent, actually full extent, has to do with money. Okay, so on a day-to-day, when we put our alarm clock, has to do with money. So many things that we do on a day-to-day basis revolve around money, and the world wants to tell us, hey, don't talk about money, don't focus on it. That's just so much crap. I coach people, ask anybody what they make about money, talk about money, because here's why. Money, at the end, if so many things revolve around money, we need to create more money. We need to create an abundance of it so we don't have to worry about it. Here's the analogy that I've always heard and used, okay? If I were to take someone's head and just start drowning them in the ocean, okay? Why would I ever do that? I have no idea. But let's just say we were drowning them in the ocean, okay? And they were just there drowning. What is the only thing that individual could possibly think of? Air, breathing. That is the only thing they can think of. They're not thinking about paying their bills. They're not thinking about it. They're not thinking about what they're going to do that weekend. They're drowning. They just want some air. Man, they can't breathe. They just need some air, okay? So money is the exact same way. You don't think about breathing or air on a day-to-day basis. You don't wake up in the morning, reminder to breathe, by the way. Reminder you need some air, you need some oxygen. You don't think about that, okay? There's an abundance of air, all right? Although we don't think about air, does that mean that it's not important? No, air is important. We need it to survive. We need it to live, okay? But we have an abundance of it, so we don't have to think about it. Money works the same way. When you have an abundance of money, you don't think about it. I remember what it was like to look at the menu of everything that I purchased at a restaurant and just making decisions based on money. Dude, nowadays, there's money. I don't even look. The waiter comes and I just give him the card. I'm like, whatever it is. And then it's always 30% tip. Sometimes it's 100% tip. And I don't say that to be braggadocious. I don't say that to be, again, arrogant. I say that because the money doesn't define me. It's merely a tool to live this infinite game of life, okay? And now, all right, that there's to an extent an abundance of it. I don't have to think about it. I can make decisions that I want to make based on the merit on the decision, not on money. So when people say don't talk about money or money isn't, don't focus about money, I think people that don't focus on money are the most selfish people in the world. When you only can think about yourself, paying your bills, and only taking care of yourself and nobody else, none of your family, your community, I think that's pretty selfish. I love that in our business, we teach people to think above themselves, make so much money that you can take care of other people, right? And that's what we're going to teach you here today. So hope that helps when I throw in this extra tip.